reading porn in the corn, which is so corny. Whatever. From fire to velo. Last month I moved to Amsterdam. I love living with my mother. But then Jamie, a guy who I started dating in February this year, moved to Australia and offered me his house. It's actually a cruel story with a silver lining. Jamie and I met when he was working behind the bar. He intrigued me. We dated for 2 months, and in that time I unknowingly derailed his grand plan. His goal was to sleep with 50 women before leaving Amsterdam, and he fell for me and only slept with 43. Oops. He was sweet though. He dropped everything just to be with me. We had wild nights in the city, in the bar Coco's Outback on Thorbeckenplein where he worked, and it felt nice to have someone all for myself for a change. Of course, I wasn't entirely monogamous, but he didn't mind. We both knew his future was in Australia. My funniest memory, sort of, with him is when Jamie had some Spanish friends visiting. And since he was working late, I was on entertainment duty. Only one of the girls spoke a little English, so she became our interpreter for the night. Mostly though, we relied on body language, resulting in tearful laughter. The sweetest girl in the group wanted to practice English, so our translator helped her with a phrase to use when people spoke to her. I speak a little bit of English, but tomorrow more was supposed to be the message. But her version? I suck your dick a little, but tomorrow more. And the best part? She even gestured more with her hands. It was hilarious. Every guy I knew, I told them to ask her if she spoke English. And the next day, when her friends finally told her what she's been saying all night, they filmed her reaction. When they played the video for us later, Jamie and I just laughed until we cried. She was so angry. On our second night out, Jamie made us a dangerously strong cocktail, and then more. We were already wasted before even leaving the house, and completely gone by the time we stumbled back at the pub after closing. The Spanish girls crashed on the sofa, while Jamie and his colleagues finished up cleaning. My head was spinning, so I kept asking for Coke and cola and sugar to sober me up. And then, smoke! 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 The cleaner's voice rang out from upstairs. Jamie and his co-workers ran to investigate while the rest of us stayed put. Moments later, there was a loud bang on the front door. Firefighters, police were pulling at the door, gesturing for us to open up. I was so drunk, I just gestured my head. No key. One of the Spanish girls, thankfully more sober than I was, grabbed a chair, ready to smash it through the glass door to escape. But just before she swung, the police managed to force the locked door open. We stumbled outside. The entire Thorbeckenplein was taped off. Fire trucks, police, chaos everywhere. Oh my goodness, this was serious. I sobered up instantly and ran to the first firefighter I saw. Remembering my fire safety course from work, I told him that there were 4 people inside. The smoke poured out of the building, thick, black, unbearable. We stood outside watching, praying for our friends to make it out. Finally, Jamie and his co-workers emerged, coughing like crazy but unharmed. We embraced them. And the pub manager was crying. She was certain that her still burning cigarette had started the fire. And guess what? The police confirmed it. The building didn't collapse. Just the first floor was damaged. And most importantly, no one got hurt. But the next morning, I woke up in Jamie's arms and I had the horrifying realization. I had given the wrong information to the firefighters. There weren't 4 people inside, there were actually 5. I had just completely forgotten about the cleaner, our actual hero. So that was Jamie, the guy who left for Australia forever. But before he left, he gave me his house and a farewell gift. It was a dream, a 2-bedroom place with a massive rooftop, right behind Makateplein. In Amsterdam, where finding a decent home is nearly impossible, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I moved out of my mom's house on the 1st of April. So yeah, April Fool's Day, but then this was for real. She cried the entire time my friends were loading the truck. I can't believe my little girl is leaving me to live in the big bad city all by herself, she kept mumbling between sobs. It broke my heart a little, but I was too ecstatic about getting my own place to let that hold me back. I had spent weeks preparing. Every wall was painted in colors that I loved. Cream walls with one dark, warm red accent wall on each room. My paranormal friend Tony, who used to be my gangster friend, told me I needed red to stay grounded. Thank goodness, it's my favorite color. My walk-in closet room was painted aqua blue for a tropical feel, and all my furniture was second-hand colonial style, and I had been given so many Buddha statues that my house was practically haunted by them. Now the real question was, how would it all look once everything was inside? Most of my friends were there, but most importantly, so were my strong manly buddies, John, Mikey, Sakib, my uncle Alex, Alexander and Phil, and my professional mover friend Bart. Anna, Lucinda, they were all waiting at me at my new apartment, making sure everything was clean before we arrived. Thanks to Bart, we finished loading everything in just 3 hours instead of to Amsterdam. When we arrived, the guys started unpacking immediately, while my girlfriends and I ran to the supermarket, just 3 minutes walk from my house, to grab tons of food, drinks and champagne. The plan? Reward the men in between and after their hard day's work. Everyone works so hard, I must be the luckiest person alive to have such sweet, hardworking and amazing friends. The gift of no expectations. Having expectations brings complications, and it's madness to create your own sadness. The beauty of life is that we all have our drive. Some choose to give, while others simply live. When nothing is asked, a lesson unfolds, a truth more precious than riches or gold. No two souls are ever the same, and expecting otherwise invites only blame. If you are truly free, you will see that kindness flows effortlessly. Forgiving with love, with nothing to gain, is life's most magical, selfless refrain. I thank and cherish the friends who stood tall, who caught me when I thought I would fall, and I love just as deeply the ones who strayed, for friendship has many forms in its own way. Thank you for embracing me as I am, imperfect yet whole, with no need to pretend. And thank you most of all for the beautiful soul you are, my friend. By 10 o'clock, everyone had left. And at 20 past, I fell into a peaceful sleep in my freshly made king-size bed. Now only the cruel part. Jamie had been web calling me every day for a week, until I had enough and deleted my Skype account. Then he started calling me, begging me to wait for him. So I told him I was happily shagging Tommy again. My love had left with him when he left, and that should have been enough. But then Jamie started saying he would come back for me and fight for me. I got the creeps and told him that if he did, there was nothing for him to fight for. Finally, 2 days of peace. And then he was in my house, standing there with his old keys. I was furious. "What are you doing here?" I yelled. He looked at me sad eyes. "It's still my house," he said softly. "That's in the past, Jamie. Same as my love for you. Just like everything last month." He muttered something about me protecting myself, but I didn't listen. He kept calling me for days, right up until last week. And now if you think I was cruel before, then stop listening. You might find me heartless. Last week, while Tommy was on holiday, I met up with Hank Baby Store at Club Ring, conveniently close to where Jamie works. Hank was his second name because he was the most handsome guy in the village and surrounding villages. And every girl had a crush on him. One crazy Tia Maria night about a year ago, Miriam and I decided to take pictures of everyone's ass, print them and play the game the following week. The winner, whoever could identify the most asses, would win another bottle of Tia Maria. Naturally, I won. And naturally also I was the one who snapped a picture of Hank's perfect ass. Hank found it hilarious, and we had a short-lived thing. Probably because I was so nervous, I giggled through everything, including sex. It didn't last long, but Miriam and I came up with a business idea, selling Hank's perfect sperm to desperate women and calling our sperm bank Hanky's Baby Store. Now back to Rain. Hank was happy to see me, but still too sober to fall madly in love. I needed to get him drunk, but I was broke, so I did the only thing I could. I took him to the one place I knew where drinks were free, Jamie's bar. Jamie had doubts, but he still wanted to steal my heart, so he made us the most expensive cocktail on the menu. And the more we drank, the more Hank and I talked about old times, and the more we talked, the hornier we got. I told him about the hidden, burnt out upstairs first floor area that was burned down from the fire. I also told him I was wildly insensitive since Jamie was still in love with me. Hank loved the idea though, so we waited for Jamie to get busy and then snuck upstairs. I was unzipping Hank's pants when bang! A loud knock at the door. "You can't have sex in here, this is a private area," a voice barked. I looked at Hank with my "oh my goodness, we're screwed" face, but he stayed cool. "I'm not having sex," he called back. "I'll be out in a few minutes." We waited, holding our breath, until we heard footsteps retreat. Hank snuck out first and then I followed 3 minutes later. We thought we were in the clear, but we were wrong. Downstairs, the bar owner, who I had once comforted after the fire, stormed up to us. "Get out," she snapped, "or I will have the bouncer throw you out." We bolted. As I glanced over my shoulder, I saw Jamie behind the bar. He was crying. So now you know which of my lovers gifted me the house in Amsterdam and how I rewarded him by breaking his heart.